Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
You're listening to Peace Fund Radio with Adrian Paul and Ethan Dettenmaier, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Oh, just getting up this morning, I think. Oh, my goodness. All right, no, I've been up since 6. That's fine. Hello, Ethan. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, as you can tell, I'm full of beans this morning. I wish it was full of something else, but anyway. Don't say it.
Oh, you're
don't
full
say
of
it.
it,
Don't say
friend.
it. Don't say it because I know it's going there.
You don't need me to say it. The audience already knows it.
Thank you so much. What was your week like? Was it a fabulous week? Was it? I heard you went down to Comic-Con as well, which we want to talk about very quickly.
It was pressing. I was down there actually on behalf of this show and the show I produce on Fridays, Combat Radio, where we did a live appearance from the ship from the Pirates of the Caribbean with a lot of the celebrities we work with. That was Friday. Did some stuff with Robotech involving a secret project with them, and then
How secret? Is it top secret?
Mic appearance for Hasbro, huh?
Is it one of those top secret projects?
I don't know how top secret it is because it was announced on the panel, but, I live in a world of secrecy, my friend, so how much do you really need to know about me?
Would you have to kill me if I actually ask you the question?
I'm not violent in that sense,
Okay.
but, I maintain my presence in the shadows. I'm just the guy.
You're just a guy.
I move along much more freer without people knowing exactly what I do between Warner Brothers and Universal.
Well, I mean...
But it was a good appearance down there. It was tiring as hell.
And there was a lot of people down there.
Did you not go?
No, I didn't go. I was so dealing with the Peace Fund Games.
That's what I was dealing with.
I know you were actually giving out flyers as well. We had a lot of people actually giving out flyers down there, which was great. And we're going to actually be trying to continue that. We're actually looking at volunteers right now to actually hand out flyers for us in the California area. So if you're in California and you want to help us out, you can contact www.thepeacefund.org or go to peacefundgames.org, and there is contact information there, and you can find us there. And please, we'd love to have you. We'd love to give us a hand.
I need to actually say thank you to some of our friends, part of the cast of Veronica Mars, Monster High, Spider-Man, Robot Chicken, all those guys that took flyers from me after Friday night's bash when we stumbled off the pirate ship about 3 in the morning for their day Saturday. So everyone that collaborated with this show and all the other shows we produce out of here who got involved on behalf of Adrian's Peace Fund, thank you. We owe you a favor or 2 or 3 for taking those flyers. And some miraculous, innovative guy who was smart enough to copy flyers on the way down to San Diego.
Yeah, who was that?
God, genius.
Genius.
What
but actually,
genius.
I want to give a shout out to some people that actually took some of our flyers as well. Jeannie Campbell led the team. 4 people down there actually who handed out all the flyers down at the con. Donald Saar, Kendra Harrison, Kyle Starner, and actually also Judith Phipps, who's actually from San Diego, handed them out outside the actual con itself. Brilliant. So we got rid of a lot of flyers down there. I hope you guys join us in this because it's going to be a really cool event. I'm actually going over there on Friday to do a site walkthrough. We're doing, we've got to figure out where all the sponsors are going to be, where the camp's going to be set up, where the entertainment's going to be, how the games are going to be set out.
Where your combat reporters are going to be.
Where our combat reporters are going to be. Combat radio. Table, I hope. Yeah, we got a big one for you.
Close
there.
To the craft
It'd be absolutely
table.
Enormous. Anyway, yeah, thank you for all of you out there because I think getting the word out there right now is very important to us. We've got social media publicity people. We want people to know about the Peace Fund Games, so share it everywhere, anyhow, anytime. Well, you know the drill, ladies and gentlemen. Peace Fund Games. You can go to www.thepeacefundgames.org. Most of the time, if you misspell it, it will redirect to that anyhow because we know people make the mistakes sometimes. So, but anyway, today, Ethan, what I really like about this show is that the past 3 or 4 shows, we've had beautiful women in the studio. You can't deny that, right? I mean,
no, I cannot.
You cannot deny that. And it's no different this morning. I have a friend of mine who's in the studio, fabulous actress, known for Monica, Cabin Fever, Not Another Teen Movie, Thanksgiving House, Return to House on Haunted Hill, Power Rangers. and guest roles on Walking Dead, Mike and Molly, Bones, CSI. She won the Miss Nevada Teen USA pageant in 1996.
Wow,
yeah, that's in there too, is it? Oh, goodness. Serena Vincer. Good morning, Serena. How are you?
Good morning, Adrian. Thank you for having me here.
It's fabulous. Well, we've actually crossed paths several times, and we had the same appearance manager, and so it's always, and we actually ran into each other at on the 30th
watching the World Cup.
Watching the World Cup, yes.
Which I'm like going through World Cup withdrawals right now. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I know it was awesome. We actually had that discussion in the studio several times, right, Ethan?
We did.
Yeah.
Are you missing it as well?
Well, yeah, kind of. It's kind of, it's amazing. It's like anything. You take 4 years of let's build up to this moment, and then 2 weeks later, it's over.
Right. I know. I kind of have a feeling. I feel like isn't there a study done where after football season, many men get really depressed?
Depressed, yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like I used to, when I used to direct, or when I used to be in a very heavy show, and it would go on. It would be so intense for that period of time. Whether that was, when I was doing Highlander, for instance, it was like 10, 15 days with pre-production and production, etc.
Right.
And you would be there for literally probably 17, 18 hours of the day, and then suddenly it's gone, and you're like,
you don't know what to do with yourself.
Yeah, what do I do now?
Yeah.
And I think that's that's the same feeling.
I think we, as actors, we struggle with that often. What do we do now?
Yeah, I know.
Which is why we do charity work.
Exactly, that's why we do charity work.
Yeah.
You've got a weekly lifestyle column on the Huffington Post as well, right?
We do. I wrote a book series with one of my very best girlfriends, Jody Lipper, years ago. 3 books with HarperCollins. And then from that, we have a column on the Huffington Post. We've taken a break for the last couple months from it, but it's still up and we're still writing. And
you're also the co-author of an incredibly successful book, How to Eat Like a Hot Chick.
Right, so that's one of the 3 books. How to Eat Like a
Hot Chick, Love Like a Hot Chick,
and Live Like a Hot
Chick.
And
Live Like a Hot Chick, which is obviously something that you do.
Well, no, so thank you, but our definition of hot chick is not about anything physical, it's about an inner beauty, it's about an inner confidence, and with these books we really created a sisterhood of women supporting women. They're really uplifting, irreverent, girlfriend-to-girlfriend advice books. So it's like what you would call your best girlfriend for. So that's the advice in the books. So from food to dating to love to, we have all sorts of crazy things in there,
I'm looking at your somebody sent me a little bio on your here, and it says, Serena enjoys cooking, yoga, happy hour with her girlfriends. I'm like, and here it is. We've got Miss America.
That does sound a little Miss America.
Yeah, doesn't it? Hello, and she's here. Yeah, but listen, since you've written a lot of stuff as well, you tabloid magazines and reality shows. We can have a little chat now about how they affect kids, because I know that's something that you really concerns you as well.
Yeah, that was something again that it is a part of our books, and it's in our books, and we talk about how tabloid magazines and reality TV and all this stuff is really bad for young women and men, but young girls. When you see, kids are in line at the grocery store and they see on the cover of a magazine where, one celebrity is too skinny for being a size 2, and then another celebrity is, too fat for being a size 6, and it really affects, what are we supposed to be? What is beautiful? And I think that a lot of the things in tabloid magazines and reality shows are messing with people's self-confidence.
Well,
we're all searching to be
There's a few celebrity reality shows like this. I was actually watching one last night, which is one of my wife's favorites, Dance Moms. And Dance Moms, oh my goodness, the things they put, the women, how dare you do that? Because all it is sensationalism. I'm sure half of this stuff is actually made up. They actually create these relationships and create these, and these people are so ugly. There's one woman on it, they call her, her name's Christy, but they call her Christy because she's a very big religious person. And what she does is so anti what she stands for.
Right.
And I don't understand that. If you are supposed to be a religious person, a good person, and you start bad-mouthing and hateful things towards other people, how does that sit in line, and how does that affect your kid that you're bringing up?
That is a version of bullying, and those little girls grow up to do the same thing, and which is like the antithesis of our books, where we're trying to tell women to support other women and women to tell each other that we're beautiful and we're powerful and we're smart and we're confident. But what you were saying about dance moms is interesting, since you introduced me as a former Miss Nevada Teen USA in 1996. When I went to Miss Teen USA, I didn't grow up like a beauty pageant girl at all. I just happened to enter it against my parents' wishes and then happened to win. But when I went to Miss Teen USA, I was with, it's essentially like shooting a reality show. I was with 50 other women, girls at 16, who were like born and bred to be beauty queens. And it was an extraordinary experience, but it was so sad to see these women putting all this energy into just looking a certain way, just being, beautiful, or whoever's idea of perfection, but then also really bullying each other.
I think the reality shows are about sensationalism now. I mean, there's some that are really cool because they actually, show life how it really is. But I know for a fact, having friends that produce those shows, that a lot of this is not reality. It's scripted reality. In other words, they create situations that makes the worst come out in people, because that's what sells.
Right, they create the drama.
And
at the expense of these kids.
At
which
the
is
expense
really
of the
sad.
kids. I mean, you should have seen these kids on Dance Moms last night. They're in tears. They're watching their parents fight, literally fight each other. And you sit there going, is that a great example to give to your child?
That's child abuse. I haven't seen the show, but like but children in tears creating, from drama created by a production company for seems like a version of child abuse.
Well, it is to a degree. I mean,
the
the reason they were crying were different reasons. One, because they had been put up against each other. One team was the established team, and the other team was the new team, but the new team had been given all the great stuff so that they would actually win it. So the other teams felt like that they'd been cheated. The mothers felt like they'd been cheated. They all created this entire drama, blah, 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 blah. It's just, I just want to throw up sometimes when I see some of this stuff, because that was actually a pretty good show when you saw some of the drama, but it's gotten so much out of hand now. They're literally throwing fisticuffs in front of the kids. And you go, how can you do that? How can you do that in front of your child? Listen. I went to a birthday party at LACMA, Los Angeles Museum of County Art, right? Great place. As I'm walking through, my wife happened to go past the lady and said, "Excuse me." Then she said, "Excuse me again." And she said, "Excuse me again," and went past closer, didn't touch her. And the woman went, "What are you doing?" I said, "Excuse me." Then you should have gotten out of the way, shouldn't you? And she started swearing at. Now, I could have turned around and started going back at her, but I didn't. I put my child away, and then I went back at her.
Right.
And then I went back at her, and then I told her what I thought. She said to me, "Yeah, you don't know what you're dealing with." I said, "Yes, I do know what I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with a very ignorant woman." And she went, "Ugh." And eventually, it was get out. But you can't do that in front of your kids.
Yeah, you're absolutely.
You can't do that in front of your kids. You can't argue in front of your kids with your parent, with your other better half. You can't do stuff like that because it affects them, especially when they're young.
That is that whole saying. We've all had a childhood. No matter how we grew up, we all know exactly
why.
How?
What are you doing? Come on, Ethan. So, do you have a lot of big fights? I mean, you're not a let's say, put out this, a gentle giant. You do speak your mouth, and so sometimes you do your words, your thoughts.
What are you asking me?
I'm just asking you. Do you do a lot of fighting in front of your kid?
I try not to. I've had my moments.
Yeah,
I try not to.
I know, because what happens is it's that impulse. It's that reaction rather than response.
Well, I had a situation on. I don't really like to do it. But I did actually just do that Sunday when I walked into the Melting Pot in Pasadena and was met with blatant racism at the host stand. So,
what?
Yeah.
What happened?
They were, it's one of those, I don't know if I want to derail the show, but it's just one of those moments when coming from, my family, a blend of different cultures. You just know these things. So
yeah, I know you're talking about.
But what was hilarious is the manager's incompetence, and that's really what set me off, is I just actually said, we were sat in the bar area, and the bartender was our waiter, and I'll just keep it short. And so he was very good. And so when I said, when you have a minute, send the manager over. And the manager comes over and goes, I understand you want to say something? Or I said, yeah, actually, your bartender's very good, but the people up front, your hosts, are really rude and possibly racist. And she was like floored, as if like the charade should be that racism doesn't exist, and that, you know, the 40, 60 employees there, none of them are, of course, racist on any level. And, you know, that's just not the way the world is. So I've kind of come in a situation like that where I'll react right there on the spot, just out of, you know, it's tough, you know, with my kid who does so much work for the community, has to deal with that stuff because of her heritage, you know. I can
kind of understand that, because when when you get to the point when you're actually they're vulnerable, but you're trying to actually help and do something, and somebody turns around and does something like that, it would set me off as well, because that's what sets me off sometimes, is when, you know, I feel that those close to me, or I am being disrespected, or somebody's being, that really ticks me off, and I have to be very careful with the words I choose at that particular moment in time.
I'm trying to actually decelerate my combative behavior. You know, to be honest with you, I've been trying to be more Zen-like and less confrontational.
It's hard to do.
In a situation like that, I just can't shut up. I don't just say, they're racist. Let's enjoy our dinner.
I'm the same way. When someone's getting, if I feel like someone's getting taken advantage of, or I'm getting taken advantage of, or the truth is spun in a way, that's when my Italian temper comes out.
Yeah, so that's your Italian side.
Zen, and a lot of other moments.
But it's that Italian.
Lose my cool.
Yeah, no, I understand. I mean, the interesting thing is, I've been on the side of racism as well, from African Americans. It does not just go this side. It goes everywhere, because I've actually sat at a table where me and my wife were totally dissed. And you knew it. You just felt it. You're like, really? Now I know what happens on the other side of the...
This was harder for me because a lot of times it's not just reporting it. It's just the manager's total incompetence of not knowing how to handle it. And and I think personally, when you say those things, if someone feels they're being discriminated against, then the manager needs to assume that person is correct and not make the argument that none of us are racists. Because the manager really does not know. And the manager should be like, well, whatever's making you feel uncomfortable, let me put it right now.
Let me address it. You know?
Instead of saying like, I've never heard that. I'm sure none of us are racist. I'm like, look, you can't get in any of your... I mean, if you're going to open a restaurant in Pasadena with 100 people, chances are you're going to hire a couple of ignorant people in the mix.
That's very possible.
And they're going to, but those people should not be at the front of the house. If you can you shouldn't hire them at all if you can target them, I think. But when you feel it that way, the manager needs to be like, well, let me somehow balance the scales and put it at ease, and not be met with this like look of shock. Like,
we're derailing a little bit, but basically I kind of agree with you to a degree, because I know I've been into a lot of restaurants, hotels, etc., where the host is an ass. And they and you're like, wait a minute, you're supposed to be the person that is the front of this restaurant.
You're supposed to be greeting me.
Exactly. I went into in Hungary one point, and we went for breakfast, and she said, well, there's two of us for breakfast. Can we come in? And she goes, do you have a reservation? I went, no. And I'm looking around the restaurant. There are 3 couples in the restaurant. It's empty. It's empty.
Let me tell you, if we ever owned a restaurant, we would shift the entire course of the world. But I just get so fed up on that kind of thing. We could talk all day about that, but I love it at Universal, where we do a lot of work, where you walk in and they're like, I'm sorry, we're not going to be able to seat you for about 20 to 30 minutes, and half the place is empty. And I'm like, do you want the cover, which is how they refer to meals in the industry, do you want the cover to go to another restaurant up the street?
Well, that's exactly it.
You get them in the place.
In the place, yeah, and then you move things around. I mean, that's how you get people to look in there. It's and you go, it's busy. Oh, good, I want to go to that restaurant. Yeah. You know? Anyway,
makes no sense.
Let's talk about something else. I mean, I know, because we have Serena Vincent here today, for those of you who just joined us. Good morning,
Hello.
Serena, again.
Thank you for having me. This is a lot of fun. Oh, by the way, can I say something?
Yeah, that's what you're here for.
I want to help pass out flyers or whatever for the...
Are you going to any cons?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you some. That'd be awesome. Because that's what I want all my celebrity friends as well, to put them on their tables when they're going to cons as well, because it's really that type of fun event. I mean, we've got... I'll show you the flyer afterwards.
Okay.
I know that one of the other issues that you deal with is cystic fibrosis, because you have a family member that...
I have a cousin who has cystic fibrosis, and when I was let's see, like 10, I had one of these those assignments in class where you have to go to the library and just choose one book and write a book report on it, and I happened to choose this book written by a father to his daughter about the experience of, about his experience with his daughter having cystic fibrosis, and it broke my heart at 10 years old. The story broke my heart. So anyway, I do have a cousin, Emily Daskus, and who has cystic fibrosis, but she's been fighting it for years, and she's just starting college at Chapman University this year, which is fabulous. And I have a huge family, and they all do a lot for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, which is an incredible charity. It's like one of the number one charities where most of the money goes to research, and they're coming up with cures and treatments and things like that.
For those of you that don't know what cystic fibrosis is, because we hear a lot of names of diseases and predicaments, etc., all the time. Cystic fibrosis is a life-threatening genetic disease that primarily affects the lungs and digestive system. It's the most common inherited disease affecting children and young adults. It's a chronic disease that currently has no cure. Now, people with cystic fibrosis are at greater risk of getting lung infections because thick, sticky mucus builds up in their lungs, allowing germs to thrive and multiply. Lung infections are a serious problem for those with cystic fibrosis because they can lead to severe or worsening lung disease. And here's some facts, which I always hate to make, but these are true. It's the number one genetic killer of children and young adults in the United States. Males and females are both equally likely to inherit cystic fibrosis. 1 in 20 Americans, more than 13 million, is an unknowing, symptomless carrier of the disease. Cystic fibrosis is the most common in Caucasians of Northern European descent. In the United States, approximately 30,000 people are diagnosed with cystic fibrosis, with 1,000 new cases each year. Worldwide, about 70,000 people have the disease. The condition occurs in approximately 1 out of 3,000 live births in North America, and it's slightly more common in the United Kingdom, with the condition occurring in 1 in 2,400 live births. So it
affects children, and it really affects their way of life. I mean,
the interesting thing is, you said your cousin is going to college, but historically they don't live past their teenage years.
True. So the treatments and things that they're coming up with through the money donated to the foundation is extraordinary. And she goes to go through extensive, horrible, like, breathing treatments and things each day. So, but this fall I'm going to hike. I'm going on an extreme hike for cystic fibrosis.
Extreme hike.
If anybody wants to donate to.
Where can people find you, by the way?
I
found you, but I know where to find you.
At Serena Vincent. Follow me on Twitter, and then I'll put all the information up there, and you can follow it.
You talked about that. I mean, you talked about treatments and stuff like this. I mean, not in the 1980s, people with cystic fibrosis had an average life expectancy of 14 years. So the treatments have come a very long way, and it's because of the CF Foundation. Organizations just like this that actually have helped the life expectancy to actually help treatments to actually extend the life or improve the lives of children and people with cystic fibrosis. That actually approximately 90% of infants born with it will live past a year. Only 90%. Currently, the forecasted life expectancy of babies today with it is 40 years old. Hopefully, that will get, a little bit more. Testing. How do you test for cystic fibrosis? Do you know? Because I've got the facts here.
I don't actually know that. I mean, I know that it's pretty obvious after you're born that there's something wrong.
Well, there's a sweat test. It measures the concentration of salt in the person's sweat. A high salt level indicates CF. Newborn screening is done in the first 2 or 3 days, and it identifies babies who are at a high risk. And if a baby has a positive screen, a sweat test may be used to rule out or confirm if it is CF. And all 50 states and the District of Columbia screen newborns for cystic fibrosis, so you will know that if you're having a baby. It does help to get early diagnosis and treatment, like anything. Mm-hmm. It's very important to have. It improves growth, keep the lungs healthy, extends the years of life, etc.
I went to an this is not off topic, but I went to an Everlast concert recently with a friend of mine, and his daughter has it as well, and he spent a large portion of his concert talking about cystic fibrosis and all the work that he does for it. So there's a lot of people out there working for the cause.
You talked about the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, non-profit, donor-supported organization. It's the world's leader for the cure right now. It funds life-saving research. So if any of you out there know somebody or want to find information, please go there, www.cff.org. Nearly every, and this is an interesting fact here, nearly every cystic fibrosis drug available today was made possible because of foundation support.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So that's really, it's a very good. And the interesting thing is, I'm sure there are other organizations out there and small organizations that are dealing with it. But when you have a foundation like this that is really, dealing with the problem and finding those cures, you really want to go to some place.
And they have a bunch of different, like the event that I'm doing in September, the extreme hike in Santa Barbara. They year round have different events and things like that people can get involved in and sign up with in different creative ways to raise money for the disease.
Now, were you going to say something, Ethan?
Say something.
That's all right. I mean, I can't say something, but
Say
I
it.
don't have to.
Please say something.
Well, going back to this melting
tone.
pot in Pasadena. No, kidding.
Melting pot is the fondue place. I've always wanted to go there, but I'm not going now. They're racist.
And that's my. You probably have a fantastic time, but me, no, I'm never going back there again. But that's not really what I was going to say, actually. And I did request an edit. Actually, I stepped out of the studio to request an edit before the broadcast is uploaded. But you said extreme hike.
Extreme hike.
That actually sounds intimidating for some of us. So is there other ways we can do besides something to get involved besides an extreme hike?
Well, you don't have to hike. You can support me on my hike.
Oh, we can finance your hike.
You can finance my hike, or you can go to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation website, and there's other things that you can do.
When is this hike?
September. You want to do it with me?
I don't know if I can do it with you, but maybe we can run like a parallel kind of radio broadcast segment.
That would be really fun.
Getting some of the listeners to sponsor you or something.
That would be really fun.
Just thinking out loud. We'll talk after the show, but it'd be nice to do something.
Okay.
There's also you've also got Emily's got a Facebook page as well. Emily's Army. Yeah. So you can find
and there's also a band. There's an Emily's Army band. So you go to emily'sarmy.com, and it's a band that was dedicated for Emily. Yeah, and I'll put a picture up on. I'll tweet out the link, and it'll be on my Facebook page.
I know that you have done a variety of things, and we'll get to that in a second. I want to bring John Beerley on if he's out there reveling in his studio.
Yeah, no, we have him here.
I am actually. Who is John Beerley? Is that me? Because I'm having a hard time remembering my name in the presence of.
You can't even say it now, can you? You can't even say it, can you? Remembering my name.
Good morning, Adrian and Ethan and Serena. Welcome to the studio.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. It's nice to hear your voice.
He's in a closet, by the way. Yeah, he's in a closet.
Right down the hall?
No, actually, he's in another state somewhere. Right, John? It says,
Yes, I'm at the bottom of Indiana, near Louisville, Kentucky.
Right. He's in a closet or barn.
I'm going to be in Louisville, Kentucky on Friday.
Oh, you're going to Louisville?
Phantom Fest. All right.
Oh, that's one I went to a while back.
Is it fun?
Yeah, it was fun.
Cool.
Phantom Fest?
Yeah, Phantom Fest.
Maybe Beerley can do a report for us from there.
There you go. Reporter John Beerley.
That's right. I'm on the scene. I'm always on the scene.
The intrepid John Beerley.
The intrepid John Beerley. Now,
That's right.
John Beerley knows everything, actually, by the way. John is...
everything?
Well, yeah,
Not everything.
Every guest we come on, he goes, I know you did this, and this. Oh, no, I'm a big fan of that, and that. And
Do you just pull up their IMDb page?
I don't, actually.
No,
not too
he
long
doesn't.
ago, I'm on a Walking Dead podcast called Dead Talks, and we actually talked about the webisodes that you were featured in. Great work there.
See, I told you, he didn't pull it up.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. You actually okay? That was a blast.
They need to bring you into the main show or the spinoff. I know they're getting ready to start the spinoff, which is sort of shrouded in mystery. They haven't really revealed what that's going to be about. So
there was rumor that they were going to bring me into the show. Like it was talked about on Twitter, and it was on my IMDb page that I was going to be in the 4th season. So I called my friend Greg Nicotero, who executive produces the show and directs episodes, and
he's like a makeup whiz. This guy's incredible.
He's incredible. He's incredible. An incredible human being.
I love The Walking Dead.
I said, "Is this true? Please tell me it's true." No, darling, it's not.
It's not true. So it's just a rumor. Amazing how rumors start, isn't it?
I'm like, well, let's make it true.
get the fans out there. But half the time, when the show becomes that big, it's not necessarily all about the fans. It's about, it's not about the actors. It's about the show. The show becomes bigger than the actors.
True.
And, sometimes. But anyway, John also brings us our hero of the week. So I know you've got one for us this week and some updates and some stuff. So what do we got this morning, John?
Oh my gosh, there are so many great updates this morning. First, I want to talk a little bit about our very first hero of the week, Annalise Carr. Now, when Annalise was 14 years old, she decided that she wanted to volunteer at Camp Trillium, which is a camp in Canada for children with pediatric cancer and their families. It's an incredible, incredible organization. So she contacts Camp Trillium, and Camp Trillium says, well, Annalise, we would love to have you volunteer, but unfortunately, you're too young. You can't volunteer until you're 18. So Annalise decided, well, if I can't volunteer, I'll just hop into Lake Ontario, swim 52.5 kilometers in 26 hours and 41 minutes, setting a new international record by being the youngest person ever to swim continuously in open water for more than 24 hours. And in doing so, raise $200,000 for Camp Trillium. An incredible physical feat, and raised a ton of money for the comfort of these kids.
Okay, so what did she do now, John? Come on, I know. I'm waiting to hear about what happened with Lake Erie last week.
Okay. So now Annalise is 16 years old. She's still not old enough to volunteer at Camp Trillium, so she's going to decide, well, I'll do another swim. The original plan of the swim was to swim 75 kilometers. And that would have started at the tip of Lake Erie to Dover in Ontario. Massive swim. Again, this would be another record-breaking situation. About 22 hours into the swim, after she'd gone about 42 kilometers, which is about 26 miles, there were unexpected weather conditions that resulted in Annalise swimming for a very long period of time directly into 4-foot waves that are knocking her back.
Oh my God!
At that point, the officials that were monitoring the swim and her coach decided that for safety's sake, it was best to go ahead and, instead of swimming all the way to Dover, to stop off at Long Point in Ontario, which is kind of a big sand pit that kind of juts out into the lake. So at the end of the day, Annalise's swim was cut short by extreme weather conditions. She made it 42 kilometers in 22 hours, 20 minutes, and 18 seconds.
42 kilometers. Is that all?
Oh, my God.
Incredible.
She didn't make the 75? Oh, gosh. Come on.
Yeah, and she raised $186,000 for children with pediatric cancer and their families to receive relief and assistance from Camp Trillium. And because she is who she is going to finish the swim at the end of the summer. They're still settling on dates, keeping an eye on weather patterns to try to make sure that they can get a weekend where she can get it done. So she's going to finish her swim from Long Point to Dover at a later date this summer.
That's that damn Canadian weather, eh?
It's crazy, but again, you just have to, it's just amazing that, as with all of our young heroes that we talk about here on the show, a young person gets an idea, they work hard, they put in the work. It's unimaginable how much training and preparation and just initiative it takes for a girl Annalise's age to decide, hey, I'm going to do this incredible thing. I'm going to raise money for this incredible cause. And I would also like to remind everyone else to go to her website at annalisecarr.com, where you can purchase her book about her first swim, which is extremely inspiring, and it's extremely harrowing. You will not believe the obstacles that she endured and overcame in her first swim. And of course, all proceeds from the book go to supporting the kids and their families at Camp Trillium. So Annalise, congratulations. We just think the world of you. We love all of our heroes of the week, but Annalise was our very first hero, and it's just exciting to see that she's still out there getting it done for kids who need it.
Yeah. Well, you've got another one for us this week, John, right?
I do. Very quickly, I know where, Serena was talking earlier about cystic fibrosis and how her family has done a lot of work to raise awareness for that. It reminded me a lot of some of the kids we featured in the past who have used their own experiences to help other children who suffer from chronic illnesses. We had Aaron Maresky, who was a 7-year-old boy in Canada, was diagnosed with Crohn's disease at age 7. Very painful disease that runs up thousands upon thousands of dollars of medical care per month. And Aaron overhears his parents saying, "Well, luckily, we have good insurance. We're able to handle it, but it's so sad for all the families that can't." So Aaron's like, "Whoa, wait! You mean there are kids who are sick who can't afford their medication? Well, we have to do something about it." So Aaron starts Aaron's Apple, which you can read about at aaronsapple.com. They've raised more than $380,000 to help families pay for their children's monthly medical expenses. Absolutely incredible organization. We talked about Risha Shukla, who has been battling multiple chronic illnesses since she was 3 years old and has survived constant surgeries and currently survives without 6 of her internal organs.
Oh my God.
She has turned her ordeal into the Kids Who Care Foundation, which you can read about at kidswhocareclub.org. They provide care packages, resources, and a traveling variety show for sick kids and their families. They built a playroom in a hospital in India. Just tons of work going on from this organization to bring comfort and joy to kids who are undergoing painful operations and long-term medical difficulties every day. Jen Rubino from Cards for Hospitalized Kids, Jessica Waters from cupcakesforcamp.org. These are, other incredible young people who turn their own sicknesses and illnesses into hope and relief for other kids. We had the Scheinman family, who had called in a few weeks ago. Their daughter Haley is raising funds and awareness for kids who suffer from epilepsy, including her twin sister Olivia, through livy'shope.com. And I would urge everybody to check out livy'shope.com. They have some big summer programs going on right now to raise awareness and funds for epilepsy research.
Isn't it amazing that, you have these kids that are 7 years old, that are 8 years old, 10 years old, whatever, and they have something, and it doesn't. A lot of the time, us as adults, we end up going, "Oh, poor me, I'm suffering from this." But these kids don't. They go, "Oh, I need to help somebody else," and I find that's such a great inspiration.
Absolutely, that's what I love so much, about that, that Aaron's Apple story is like, whoa. You mean there are families who can't afford to, help their kids and afford all of this expensive treatment? Well, we have to do something, and that's what all of these incredible kids have done. They've just taken it upon themselves to do sometimes what grown-ups can't, and that's just, they don't take no for an answer.
They say,
sorry, Andy.
There's that whole.
Go ahead, Serena. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I totally cut you off. But there's that whole theory of, it's like a Buddhist theory of having like a child's mind and being open to, kids are. Their thought process is like unlimited. It's so expansive because no one has come in and told them no yet.
That's exactly. I've said that so many times. A kid doesn't have that no syndrome. We do as adults.
And their imaginations are incredible, and which is why there are so many brilliant child actors. Anyway, just reminds me of that. If we could step back into that place of unlimited possibilities. We could swim.
Well, haven't you ever been in those acting classes? They say, connect with your inner child.
I try to avoid.
I try to avoid that.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
Because if we connect with our inner child, that child might be slightly wounded, which could work for some roles, but not for others.
Yeah, no, but I mean for certain things. Yeah. But it is true. The inner child idea is the fact that no is. It's so much harder as you go through life. Once you put your finger in that socket and it burns you, you get the electric shock. Yeah. You don't want to do it again. Yeah. Or you think, "Oh, I shouldn't go around that area."
Fearless.
It's the same thing. And then you're fearless. My kids are the same. I watch my 2-year-old. He jumps in the pool without knowing it. I'm like, you don't know how to swim yet. Although he actually did he did half the bloody pool the other day. I was like, what? Wow. He's 2. And I'm like, But he just jumps in because you're going to catch me, right? Because he's not gone under going. Blah, 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 blah. Right. So it's the same thing. There's no fear. Anyway, sorry, John. Don't want to cut you off here.
No, these are all very good points. They're very good points. Kids aren't limited by, they're not hindered by logistics or bureaucracy. They just have these ideas and then get it done. And one of those kids who did something really amazing is this week's new hero of the week, 8-year-old Lorelai Brewer from Duncannon, Pennsylvania. Lorelai was born in 2005 with only half her heart. But believe me when I tell you that this amazing young lady is all heart. She had her first open heart surgery immediately upon being born and has endured 16 massive medical procedures since then, including several more open heart surgeries from the age of 3 months onward. Now, every time someone has open heart surgery, be it an adult or a child, the sternum, the breastbone, has to be broken. So when Lorelai would be recovering from these open heart surgeries, she's not just healing from the surgery itself. She was also healing from having her chest being just broken wide open, along with the excruciating pain and the unbearable discomfort from tubes sticking out of her chest and her abdomen. When she had one of her major open heart surgeries at age 3, her family gave her a compression pillow that her great-grandfather had used to help himself recover from a quadruple bypass surgery. Now, these compression pillows are pillows that you clutch tightly to your chest, and it brings some relief from the pain and discomfort from the surgery. By holding the pillow tightly across your chest, it diminishes the fluid buildup in the heart and lungs and cuts down on some of the pressure, some of the pain, and helps along with the healing process. Lorelai was really struggling, and the pillow helped her recover. It might have even saved her life, even though this adult-sized pillow was almost too big for her tiny little body to hold. Now, by the time Lorelai is 5 years old, she had developed a hobby. She had become a sewing whiz. She could sew anything. And she had an idea. She remembered that pillow and she thought, you know what? If these compression pillows work so well for adults, why hasn't anyone thought about making them for smaller children who also have to undergo these massive heart procedures? So she started sewing small compression pillows, the size for children, to give to other small children like herself who have to endure frequent heart surgeries and procedures. She got such a huge response that she created her own organization called Heart Hugs, which you can read about at facebook.com/CHD Heart Hugs. Now, in the early days, Lorelai was making and delivering one pillow a week all by herself. Amazing. I mean, think about all that this young lady endures, and she's still taking the time to make and deliver these pillows. Now she has a team of volunteers who have helped her make 1,600 Heart Hugs compression pillows for young children in 13 countries who need help recovering from heart and lung surgeries and procedures. Check out our Facebook page, and you can see pictures of Lorelai with her pillows. They are extremely cool. They're big red pillows they're shaped like a heart, and they have like an emblem of a heart embroidered on the front. They're really, really cool, along with information on how to order one if you know a child who needs one. So for her compassion, for her initiative to help other kids survive the kinds of hardships that she knows all too much about, we are all honored to name Lorelai Brewer our Peace Fund Radio Hero of the Week.
That was awesome.
Wow.
That was awesome. You know, John, at the beginning, I mean, Lorelai, just keep doing it, because what I find sometimes too is that in the darkest moments when we think everything is actually bad, it gives us a direction. And we do that as adults too. We get into certain points in life when everything looks like it's falling apart. But my brother had that when he was in Thailand, and he lost his entire home, his business, his family nearly died, the entire thing. And yet he kept going forward, and now everything's turned around for him because he was heading towards that light at the end of the tunnel. And I really think that when things happen to you, there is a reason for these things to happen, and there is something that either makes you a better person or allows you to find your destiny that is something you would never have even thought of before. So I think it's very important to understand that, and that's what Lorelai did. Coming from that and doing what she's doing now, you don't know where this young child is going to end up when she's 16, 20, years old. So I think it's a fantastic.
Well, going off of what you just said, Lorelai is incredible. But going off of what you just said, Adrian, I love the concept of, in the same moment that there's a problem, within that same moment there's a solution. We just have to be open enough to seeing it and that this is an example of that as well.
You know, I actually have a statement on my office, which basically says, when you get into trouble, it's your job to get out of it. And so every time I start getting it, I look at that and I go, yeah, I've got to find the solution to this. Yeah. You can't look at the problem. You've got to look at the solution. So, although, you know, she does have something connected to me, you know. Where did she come from, John?
Duncannon, Pennsylvania.
No, she doesn't.
A little bit of Duncan
in there. She comes from Duncannon, Pennsylvania. And if you do that in a Scottish accent, Duncannon, Pennsylvania. Oh, Ethan's looking at me like I'm crazy.
I love it.
Sorry about that. I just thought I'd throw that in. John, so... we got 5 minutes left. How did that happen?
It always happens this way.
Time flies.
I know.
Fun, right?
Well, yeah, it does. So, John, do we have anything else coming up? I mean, I've got a lot of updates this week. This week I was at Cedric the Entertainer's charity golf event, which the Kyle Foundation, Family Foundation, together with the foundation out in Camarillo. I'm losing my voice. Boys and Girls Club. It was a great turnout. There were so many celebrities there. Raised some money for those causes. I hope to bring them on the show at some point to discuss why they do it, when they do it, how they do it. But also, we've been working a lot on Peace Fund Games, which November 8th and 9th. We have all our new site up. For those of you who have not seen the site, www.thepeacefundgames.org. It is looking really cool. We've got a lot of new celebs attached. Serena's going to hand out flyers for us.
I would play, but I'm really not good at like competitive games.
Don't worry, just get it's a shot in the dark. No, sorry about that. Just threw that one in. But we got to see what. I mean, have a look at. I'll talk to you about it after the show. But it's it's going to be fun. It's going to be celebrities actually going after the prize money for the charities that they support. It's the simple overall of this. So charity organizations and celebrities and regular people are all going to mix together to try and help the kids that we are looking after as we get older in life. And I know that. Also, John, what else do you have at the moment? Anything else before we've got like 2-3 minutes left?
As always, everybody check out our website, thepeacefund.org, to find out about all of the upcoming events and everything that we've got going on, including the David Fry Memorial Golf Tournament, which will be held Monday, August 11th.
August 11th, David Fry Memorial
Golf.
Those on your East Coast, check it out. It's on our website, on the Peace Fund website. Check out that golf tournament. That helps a young boy who needs organ transplants. So we'd be very thankful for your donations, for your presence at the event. Anything you can do to help will be fantastic.
Yes, and definitely read the story of Brandon, the young boy that this event will be helping. His story is absolutely incredible. As always, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook, 2 accounts, The Peace Fund and Peace Fund Radio, and also on Twitter, Peace Fund Games for the paintball tournament that's coming up. Follow Adrian at AdrianPaul1. Follow Ethan at Combat Radio, where you can find out about Ethan's Friday show, Combat Radio, where he brings on the best names from music and martial arts and film and sports to talk about the issues that matter most to you. And of course, follow our guest, Serena, at Serena Vincent, and learn about all of her upcoming events and all of the great work that she's doing to help what the Peace Fund does, which is to protect, educate, and aid children everywhere.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you,
John.
So, Serena, before we go, what's next for you? What do you got coming up shortly?
I have a movie called Monica that's coming out this fall. It's an action revenge thriller. Is that what you mean?
Are you?
Like
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, are you Monica?
I am Monica.
You are Monica.
I'm Monica, and I'm platinum blonde.
Oh my gosh!
I shoot guns, and it's pretty fun.
That's like cool. A chick with guns. That kind of like.
I grew up in. It's about a girl who grows up and it's getting revenge, but she grows up in the desert in Nevada, shooting guns, and that's how I grew up.
Hey, I mean, Lucy with Scarlett Johansson was the #1 movie this weekend. So there's
Lucy. That looks like a fun movie.
That bodes well. That bodes well for a female action film. There need to be more of those.
Together.
Well, thank you, John. Thank you, Serena, for joining us this morning. Thank you, all of you out there who are listening to the show and who have supported us. Thank you to the Speechley family, of course, for making the show possible. To all the people that are coming on to the Peace Fund site, the researchers, the project managers. There are so many of you now. We're actually going to be having to, have a long list on the Peace Fund site, the new one that's going to be hopefully coming out pretty shortly. And thank you for supporting us. And please go to the Peace Fund Games and the peacefund.org sites. In closing, I give you an anonymous quote this week. Sometimes real superheroes live in the hearts of small children fighting big battles. This is Adrian Paul and Ethan Dettenmaier. We'll talk to you next week.
You're listening to Peace Fund Radio with Adrian Paul and Ethan Dettenmaier, right here on LA Talk Radio.